أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي ليس لأوليته ابتداء ولا لأزليته انقضاء وانحسرت الأوصاف عن كنه معرفته ورضعت عظمته العقول والذي لا تواري عنه سماء سماء ولا أرض أرضا ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على سيد البطحاء سيد المرسلين والأنبياء أبي القاسم محمد المصطفى
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى الجوهرة القدسية البتول العذراء سيدة النساء فاطمة الزهراء وعلى بعلها أمير المؤمنين وبنيها الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
لا سيما على بقية الله وحجته الكبرى الذي بيمنه رزق الورى وبوجوده ثبتت الأرض والسماء ولولاه لصاحت الأرض بأهلها واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من حين عداوتهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد فقد قال السيدة فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها إن الله تعالى خلق النور وكان يسبح الله جل جلاله ثم أودعه شجرة من شجر الجنة في صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
We are commemorating the martyrdom of Sayyedah Alameen, Sayyedah Fatima Zahra, Salamullahi alayha. And this personality is the most unique person among all the humankind. And Sayyedah Fatima alayhi salam has, like other Ma'soomeen, several khasa'is. And 2 weeks ago in the Majlis al-Aza, I talked about one of her khasa'is, which was specific to Sayyedah Fatima alayhi salam only and not found in any other Ma'soom. And that was that she's the only person whose noor was not transferred from one sulb to the other, from the lineage of one father to the other, and the rahim, the womb of one mother to the other. The noor of the rest of the Ma'soomeen was transferred, but her noor was never transferred. So if you look at this hadith, which is narrated from herself, in Allah, and I already mentioned in one of my previous speeches that there's a alim in Iran who did a great job of compiling all the hadiths of Sayyedah Fatima alayhi salam. So just like for Amir Muawiyah alayhi salam, we have this Nahj al-Balagha, although it doesn't have all the hadiths of Imam Ali alayhi salam, he said much more than what is there in Nahj al-Balagha. And then we have Mustadrak Nahj al-Balagha from Sheikh Kashif al-Ghita already, and so many of the hadiths other than even the Mustadrak, which are narrated by, Muhaddis Bahrani, rahmatullah alayh, Muhaddis al-Allama al-Majlisi rahmatullah alayh, and so on and so forth. But it has a huge important chunk of hadith. Likewise, we have this great alim doing this great job of compiling the hadith of Sayyedah Zahra alayhi salam, which is he named as Nahj al-Hayat. So it is narrated that Sayyedah Zahra alayhi salam herself said, "In Allah Ta'ala khalaqa nuri, Allah created my nur, wa kana yusabbihu Allah jalla jalaluhu, and this nur was doing tasbih of Allah. ثم أودعه شجرة من شجر الجنة." Then Allah, put this nur in a tree, among the trees of paradise. فأضاءت, that tree started to glitter. فلما دخل أبي الجنة, when my father entered the paradise, he's talking about Laylatul Mi'raj, the night of ascension. أوحى الله تعالى إليه إلهاما أن اقتطف الثمرة من تلك الشجرة. Allah sent ilham, message to the Holy Prophet, so he picked up the fruit from that tree. And this is how, obviously Prophet ate that fruit of the tree. فأودعني الله سبحانه صلب أبي. So this is how, so Allah transferred me, Allah put me into the lineage of my father. So she's the only one whose nur was placed directly into the lineage of her father without getting transferred in the lineage of any other father or any other mother, the rahim of any other mother. ثم أودعني خديجة بنت خويلد, and then Allah put me into Khadija sallallahu alayha, obviously her womb carried that. فوضعتني, she delivered me. وأنا من ذلك النور, and I am from that nur, that specific nur which is hers. Obviously it was part of the nur of the Prophet, but that nur is hers. And then she says, أعلم ما كان وما يكون وما لم يكن. I have the knowledge, I know what has happened in the past and what is going to happen and what has not happened. This is called the comprehensive knowledge, ihata, complete surrounding and engulfing everything. And she said to her husband Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam that al-mu'minu yanzur, at the end she says al-mu'minu yanzuru ya Abul Hasan, al-mu'min yanzuru bi nurillah ta'ala. A mu'min sees through the nur of Allah. That's the real vision. The real vision is not what we can see, what me and you can see with our eyes. This is a very, very limited vision. The real vision is what we can see through our souls. You see, lots of people will be resurrected blind on the day of judgment, right? A lot of people will be resurrected blind. So, if you think about that, why a lot of people will be resurrected blind, although they used to have vision back then in the life of dunya? Did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will Allah remove their eyeballs? No, we have no hadith that teaches us that Allah is going to remove the eyeballs of human beings. My teacher said that the reason why people will be resurrected blind is because in the world of realities, the kind of eyes required to see the realities, we were supposed to prepare that vision back then in the life of dunya. The kind of eyes which are able to see the realities, we were supposed to prepare that kind of vision back then in the life of dunya. So those are the people who did not prepare that vision back then in the life of dunya, and their eyes are habituated of watching harams, the haram stuff is no longer there on the day of judgment. This is what their eyes have been habituated of watching. That's no longer there. So what is no longer there, even despite the fact the eyeballs are still there, they are unable to see the realities. Because the seeing of realities require a vision of the soul that asks us to purify, which a lot of people fail to purify their souls and prepare that spiritual vision. So this is the reason why huge number of people will be resurrected blind. So she says, Al-mu'minu yanzuru bi nurillahi ta'ala. Mu'min, that's true always. It's a general statement. It's a universal fact. A mu'min, whether he's in the life of this dunya or in the day of judgment, in all situations, mu'min always looks with the nur of Allah. We don't look what our eyes like us to see or our desires like us to see. We always look through the nur of Allah, and when we look through the nur of Allah, we'll always look what we are supposed to look at, not what Allah does not want us to look at. That's the real vision. This is the knowledge. This is the knowledge of Sayyedah Zahra alayhi salam. So in the tafsir of Imam al-Askari alayhi salam, tafsir which is mansub to Imam al-Askari alayhi salam, it is narrated that a woman came to Sayyedah Fatima alayhi salam, فقالت إن لي والدة ضعيفة, I have an old elderly mother, وقد لبس عليها في أمر صلاتها شيء وقد بعثتني إليك لأسألك. So she said, my elderly mom had an issue with the prayers which she could not, she's confused about, so she has sent me to ask you that question. فأجابتها فاطمة عليها عن ذلك. Sayyedah Fatima alayhi salam responded to her question. ثم سنت, then she mentioned the second question to Sayyedah Fatima alayhi salam. فأجابت, she replied the second question. ثم ثلثت, then this woman asked the third question. فأجابت, Sayyedah Fatima replied back. إلى أن أشرت, until she asked the 10th question. فأجابت, and she replied. ثم خجلت من الكثرة, then she became, embarrassed to ask further question. You already asked 10 questions. She thought it's already too much that I asked. I have been bombarding with these questions on Sayyedah Fatima alayhi salam. So she got embarrassed. So she said, فَقَدْ لَا أَشُقَّ عَلَيْكِ يَا بِنْتَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ, I don't want to cause hassle for you, O the daughter of the Messenger of Allah. قالت فاطمة, Fatima alayhi salam said, Hati wasali amma badalaki. Bring it over, ask me whatever you have. In other words, all the questions you have, just ask me. أرأيت من اقترأ يوما يصعد إلى سطح بحمل ثقيل وكراؤه 100,000 دينار فيسقط عليه. If a person is hired and that he's going to be paid 100,000 dinars, 100,000 gold coins. Dinars used to be gold coin, dirham silver, right? So if somebody is hired, a laborer is hired to carry some heavy weight upstairs for 100,000 gold coins, is it a bad deal? Will he feel, difficult to do that? She said no. This kind of money is paid, obviously, it's not going to be difficult on him. Then فقالت, Sayyedah Fatima alayhi salam replied, اقتريت أنا لكل مسألة بأكثر من ملء 200 بأكثر من ملء ما بين الثرى إلى العرش لؤلؤا. I get from the earth to the throne of Allah, this whole space filled up with lu'lu and pearls, I get more than that for replying to the questions, every question that she is asking. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is rewarding Sayyedah Fatima alayhi salam more than the you just imagine from this surface of earth till the throne of Allah. If you fill it up with the pearls, more than that is the reward for every question. فَأَحْرَى أَنْ لَا يَثْقُلَ عَلَيَّ. So, it's not going to be hard for me. سَمِعْتُ أَبِي يَقُولُ. I heard my father sallallahu alayhi wa sallam saying, إِنَّ عُلَمَاءَ شِيعَتِنَا يُحْشَرُونَ فَيَخْلَعْ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنْ خَلْعِ الْكَرَامَاتِ من خلع الكرامات. So the scholars of will be resurrected. The scholars of our Shia scholars, in other words, will be resurrected with the dress of karamat, ala qadri, dress of the dignity, ala qadri kasrati ulumihim wa jiddihim. So, and on the magnitude of their knowledges and their efforts. في إرشاد عباد الله, in guiding the servants of Allah, حتى يخلع على الواحد منهم ألف خلعة. So everyone will be given 1 million dress from Noor. This is how the ulama will be treated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And summa Yunadi munadi Rabbina, then an announcer on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord will announce, our Lord will announce, Ayyuhal kafilun li aytami Ali Muhammad, O the caretakers of the orphans of Ali Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. An-na'ishuna lahum, na'ishun means ar-rafi'un, those who elevate them. Our scholars are considered to be the caretakers of the orphans. Orphans of Ali Muhammad is a term which is used in the hadith. All the mu'mineen and mu'minat are orphans of Ali Muhammad. Why? Because our Imam is absent, is not present, or Imam is not accessible, or is not reachable. So we are all aitam, we are all orphans of Ali Muhammad, and this is the job of the scholars, to take care of these orphans. And so those of the scholars who are taking care of the orphans of Ali Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam means providing, teaching the knowledge of Ahlul Bayt to the mu'mineen and mu'minat. An-na'ishuna lahum, those who are raising them up, elevating them. عند انقطاعهم عن آبائهم, when they are broken away from their parents. الذين هم أئمتهم, parents are the imams. Any of the mu'min or mu'mina who is broken away from the imam, and the scholars guide them, elevate them, هؤلاء تلامذتهم, they are their students. والأيتام, and their orphans. الذين كفل, those of the orphans whom they have sponsored and raised. So what would happen on the day of judgment? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will command that they will be provided with the dresses of karamat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and those dresses will be given to the فَيَخْلَعُونَ عَلَى كُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْ أُولَٰئِكَ الْأَيْتَامِ عَلَى قَدْرِ مَا أَخَذُوا عَنْهُمْ مِنَ الْعُلُومِ. Each one of the mu'mineen and mu'minat will be given those dresses of karamat and dignity of Allah according to the amount of knowledge they learned from the scholars in their lives. So that amount of knowledge that you learned from the scholars, you will be given the dress of dignity according to the amount of the knowledge. Maybe somebody gets 100,000, لمن يخلع عليه 100,000 خلعة وكذلك يخلع هؤلاء الأيتام على من تعلم منهم. And likewise those mu'mineen who further taught it to others, Likewise, those others who learned from them, those orphans will also get similarly. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, أعيدوا على هؤلاء العلماء الكافلين للأيتام حتى and so Allah will say to give the dresses of karamat to these scholars who have been sponsoring the orphans, give them the same amount that you have given to the mu'mineen and then make it double. So the scholars is going to get the double of what the rest of the mu'mineen had. So وكذلك من بمرتبتهم ممن يخلى عليه على مرتبتهم. وقالت فاطمة عليها السلام, and then Sayyedah Fatima said to that woman, يا أمة الله إن سلكا من تلك الخلاء, one thread from that dress لأفضل مما طلعت عليه الشمس ألف مرة. One thread of that dress is better than all upon which the sun shines. All upon which the sun shines is the whole planet Earth. Sun shines on the entire planet Earth, right? So the entire planet, not $1 million or $2 million or $1 billion or $1 trillion, the whole Earth, everything which is in it, everything upon which the sun shines, better than that 1,000,000 times. وَمَا فَضُلَ فَإِنَّهُ مَشُوبٌ بِالتَّنْغِيسِ وَالْكَدَرِ. Other than that is something which is subject to, becoming a means of displeasure. The real pleasure, the bottom line, is through the knowledge that we learn from the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam and the knowledge that we practice. Learning the knowledge doesn't mean that we just learn something and just, keep it aside. Learning knowledge in the ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, necessitates for us to practice and retain it in our qalb. That's actually the knowledge. The amal brings the nur of knowledge in the soul. When you practice something, the nur enters the soul. So, it is narrated that in the time of the marriage of Sayyedah Zahra alayhi salam, she had only 2 shirts at that time. And it's one shirt was the old one with the patch on it, and one shirt was the new one that was purchased for her marriage. So it is narrated about the martyrdom of Sayyedah Zahra alayhi salam. At the time of her martyrdom, Imam Ali alayhi salam was there. دخل علي وعندها ولداها وتحت رأسها خد. Imam Ali alayhi salam came to Sayyedah Zahra alayhi salam. It was a time close to her Shahadat, martyrdom, and she was lying on a bed that was made of the wool of a camel, and there was something from the wool of a sheep, from the leather of the sheep that was under her head, and she was busy doing the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when Imam Ali alayhi salam came, she said, Ya Baba Madinata Ilmin Nabi, O the door of the city of the knowledge of the Prophet, Wa ya zawji fi dunya wal akhirah, O my husband in this world, in the world and the hereafter. Ya sahib as-sulalat al-tahira. This is what Sayyedah Fatima is saying to Imam Ali in the final moments before her martyrdom. O the one with the pure lineage. Usika min ba'di bihifdhi hadain al-waladain. I do my wasiyat, my advice to protect these two children. فَهُمَا قُرَّةَ عَيْنِ الرَّسُولِ. They are the means of comfort for the eyes of the messenger. وَكَفَاهُمَا مَا لَقِيَاهُ مِنْ فِرَاقِ جَدِّهِمَا. And what they have seen from the departure of the Holy Prophet, the death of the Holy Prophet, that's enough for them. So, وَأَنْ قَرِيبٍ يَفْقِدَانِ أُمَّهُمَا. Soon they are going to miss their mother. And she says that, يَبْنَ عَمِّي إِنِّي رَاضِيَةٌ عَنْكَ فَهَلْ أَنْتَ رَاضٍ عَنِّي. I am pleased with you. So are you pleased with me? خَدَمْتُكِ بِقَدْرِ جُهُودِي. Sayyedah Fatima is talking to Imam Ali alayhi salam. I have served you as much as I could with my efforts, in my reach, whatever was within the reach. وَأَعَنْتُكِ عَلَى دُنْيَاكَ مِقْدَارَ قُوَّتِي. And I assisted you on your dunya, as much as it was my power and strength, as much as she could. طحنت الشعير بالنهار واستقيت بالقربة بالليل. I ground the wheat in the daytime and filled up the water bag at the night. وَبَعْدَ ذَلِكَ إِنِّي أَعْتَرِفْ بِالتَّقْصِيرِ فِي حَقِّكَ. And after that, that means, in other words, I still confess that I could not fulfill towards your right. فَسَامِحْنِي. So forgive me. فَإِنَّ أَمَامَنَا عَقَبَةً لَا يَقْطَعُهَا إِلَّا الْمُخِفُّونَ. Because in front of us there is a passage, a bridge. Only those people who are light in terms of the burdens of wrongdoings that people like me are carrying. So Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam have no burden. These are lessons for us. These kinds of hadiths where Ahlul Bayt talk about, these are all lessons for us to learn how we are supposed to talk, how we are supposed to behave, how we are supposed to prepare ourselves. They have no sins. So the bridge, the passage in front of us is such that no one can cross it except those who are light. Those who are having heavy burdens of sins, they will, in other words, they are not going to be crossing it easily. They cannot cross. فَبَكَى عَلِيٌّ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ. Imam Ali alayhi salam cried. وقال يا بنت المصطفى يا سيدة النساء روحي لروحك الفداء. Oh, the daughter of Mustafa and the leader of all the women, may my soul be sacrificed for your soul. Imam Ali is ready to sacrifice his soul, the greatest soul after the messenger is the soul of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And he's saying, may my soul be sacrificed on your soul. Ya bint al-Bashir al-Nadhir wa man ursila rahmatan lil alameen. Oh, the daughter of the one who provides the glad tidings and warnings, and the one who had been sent as mercy for all the dwellers of all the worlds. فَلَمَّا عَرِفَتْ الرِّضَى مِنَ الْمُرْتَضَى. When she learned that Imam Ali is radi and pleased with her, قالت إذا فرغت من أمري ووضعتني في قبري فخذ تلك القارور والحق وضعهما في لحدي. When you are done with my things, in other words, that means the burial things, and you had placed me in my grave, then take this bottle and this container and place it inside the grave, inside my grave. So Imam Ali alayhi salam asked her, قال علي يا سيدة النساء ما الذي في هذه القارورة? What's there in this bottle? She said, Ya Abul Hasan, إني سمعت أبي, I heard my father saying, يقول إن الدمعة تطفي غضب الرب. I heard my father saying that the drop of tear extinguishes the wrath of the Lord. If Allah is angry upon me with all the sins that I'm talking about myself, all the sins that I have done, and I, cry from the fear of Allah, the tear extinguishes the ghadab and wrath of the Lord. وَأَنَّ الْقَبْرَ لَا يَكُونُ رَوْضَةً مِّنْ رِيَاضِ الْجَنَّةِ إِلَّا أَن يَكُونَ الْعَبْدُ قَدْ بَكَى مِنْ خِيفَةِ اللَّهِ. The grave, if you remember, the hadith says the grave is either a garden among the gardens of paradise or a ditch among the ditches of the hellfire. That's another hadith. Here she is referring to, that the grave is not going to be a garden among the gardens of paradise except for the person who has cried from the fear of Allah. وَقَدْ عَلِمَ الْعَزِيزُ الْجَبَّارُ, and Allah, who is Aziz and Jabbar, knows أَنِّي بَكَيْتُ خَوْفًا بِهَذِهِ الدُّمُوعِ, I have cried out of the fear through these tears التي في القارورة, which are in the bottle. So all those tears that she cried, throughout her life with the fear of Allah, are gathered in that bottle. In the ashar, at the time of the sahar, the time before the fajr. وَجَعَلْتُهَا ذَخِيرَةً فِي قَبْرِي, and I made it a treasure for me in my grave. أَجِدُهَا يَوْمَ حَشْرِي, which I am going to find on the day of my resurrection. فَبَكَى عَلِيٌّ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ, Imam Ali cried. فَجَعَلَتْ فَاطِمَةَ تَأْخُذُ مِن دُمُوعِهِ, that Fatima gathered the tears, took the tears from Imam Ali alayhi salam, وَتَمْسَحْ بِهِ وَجْهَهَا, and she rubbed the tears of Imam Ali on her own face. ثم قالت يا أبا الحسن لو بكى محزون في أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وآله لرحم الله تعالى تلك الأمة. If a mahzoon person cries in the ummah of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah has mercy on that ummah. And then she says, وَإِنَّكَ لَمَحْزُونٌ يَبْنَ عَمِّي لِفِرَاقِي, and you are certainly mahzoon and sorrowful, O my cousin, about my departure. فَإِنِّي أَمَةُ اللَّهِ, because I am the slave of Allah and the daughter of Rasulullah. أخذت بالبكاء, she started to cry. فبكى الحسن الحسين, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein also started to cry. ثم سألها علي عما في هذه الحقة, then Imam Ali asked her, what is that in that container? She gave a bottle and a container to Imam Ali to bury in the grave along with her. So now Imam Ali is asking, what's in that container? She says, فَفَتَحَهَا فَإِذَا فِيهَا حَرِيرَةٌ خَضْرَاء. She opened it, and inside that there was a green silk. وَفِي الْحَرِيرَةِ وَرَقَةٌ بَيْضَاء. Inside the green silk there was a white paper. فِيهَا أَسْطُرٌ مَكْتُوبَةٌ. On that paper there were lines written from وَالنُّورُ يَلْمَعُ, and the light and nur was glittering from that paper, from those lines. قالت يا أبا الحسن, she said, O Abul Hasan, لما زوجني منك أبي كان عندي في ليل الزواج قميصان. When my dad married me to you, at that time I had 2 shirts. She had only 2 shirts. أحدهما جديد والآخر عتيق مرقع. One of the 2 shirts was new, and the second one was qadim and old, and muraqqa means stitched. When your shirt becomes old and it starts ripping from places, you start to stitch. فبينما أنا على سجادة, when I was on the prayer rug, إذ طرق الباب سائل, a man knocked at the door and said, وَقَالْ يَا أَهْلَ بَيْتِ النُّبُوَّةِ, O Ahl al-Bayt of the prophethood, وَمَعْدَنَ الْخَيْرِ وَالْفُتُوَّةِ, إِنْ كَانَ عِنْدَكُمْ قَمِيصٌ خَلِقٌ فَإِنِّي بِهِ جَدِيرٌ. If you have an old qamis, old shirt, then I am deserving for that. لأني رجل فقير, because I am a poor person. يا أهل